In Movies and Money, 4 new films made it to the big screen last weekend, but that was no match for Super Bowl. We are tossing it over to Erik Childress, our film critic. What's the final score at the box office, Erik?
That the Super Bowl remains undefeated on what is definitely a sports weekend rather than a movie-going one. There were distractions like a new Kevin James rom-com, another Dracula film, the final film in Renny Harlin's Strangers trilogy, and a K-pop concert film, but Hollywood knows it tends to avoid unleashing any of their major releases on that weekend. The best Super Bowl weekend since 1990 was the one where Taken with Liam Neeson took the country by storm back in 2009. This past weekend actually did make a smidge of history by becoming the highest-grossing post-pandemic Super Bowl weekend with $47.9 million. Sam Raimi's Send Help continued to be the big winner of the bunch as it was number one for the second straight weekend with $9 million. The film is headed for around $50 to $55 million, and with international sales, could be just enough to post a victory for 20th Century Studios and Disney.
This weekend, Hollywood is feeling the love for Valentine's Day with a new version of Wuthering Heights. Here's a clip.
What should you do, Heathcliff, if you were rich?
Suppose I'd do what all rich men do. Live in a big house. And be cruel to my servants. Take a wife.
Erik, tell us what you're expecting this weekend.
Yes, there are expected to be 2 very solid openings this weekend. Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights in quotation marks, has been very hyped up as a new sexier version of the classic Emily Bronte novel. The director of Promising Young Woman and Saltburn has her fans and her detractors, myself included, but is poised to be looking at a #1 hit as the film is expected to open somewhere north of $40 million, maybe even $50 million, which could give 2026 its first $100 million grosser. Now, the second of which could turn out to be the animated Goat. Apparently, the family sports comedy about an actual goat trying to become the GOAT of Roarball is tracking well enough to have the best opening for an original animated film since 2020's Onward, the Pixar film that had its run upended by the pandemic being declared a week later. Now, anytime theaters can root on an original film of any type is a victory. Now, also hitting theaters is Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, and Mark Ruffalo, an adaptation of Don Winslow's novel. We could see it open somewhere in the teens, though it's not particularly good. Then finally, there is Gore Verbinski's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, with Sam Rockwell as a time traveler warning the present about the dangers of an AI takeover. A film that starts fun and has some great satire for about 45 minutes before petering out over its next overlong 90 minutes.
This week, you're recommending a film coming out in limited release that you screened at South by Southwest. Let's get your take on Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Happily, Angie. The film is based on the web series Nirvana, the band, the show, created by Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll in 2007. Now, trust me when I say you do not need to have seen or heard of the show to enjoy the movie. Matt Johnson, who also made the great film Blackberry a few years ago, stars with McCarroll playing versions of themselves, desperate to book a gig at a Toronto bar and doing whatever they need to do to get noticed. I'm trying not to say too much, but I will describe the film as a tribute to the works of Robert Zemeckis, mixed with a touch of Jackass. Now, I saw this at last year's South by Southwest Film Festival with deafening laughter in the audience, and I think I was laughing the hardest. Keep an eye out for it in your market, hoping Neon rolls this film out right because it is absolutely one of the best comedies you're going to see all year long.
Thank you, Erik.
Thank you, Angie.